Peace, everyone. Welcome back to another video. If you are returning, and if this is your first time coming across the channel, welcome. I hope you are very well, wherever you may be. We are reviewing the manuscript Synchronous Universe, which is a publication that I released in 2024. This publication follows Peaks and Valleys, which is the manuscript that we have reviewed the last 50 or so videos. So I encourage everybody to go back and check those videos out if you haven't. And if you have, I still encourage you to go back and review them and watch them for a second time or more, depending on how it resonates. Every time you listen to the video that's exploring the manuscript, it will internalize in a different way, depending on your mood, your day, at the alignment at the time. So don't be bashful. I'm not doing that for views. I'm doing that because the way I have segmented and designed the course. So go with the flow and maybe trust me a little bit in this regard. Just read through it. If it didn't resonate well, not well, but if it didn't make sense the first time, read through it again and again. So the reason I say this is because we have a second manuscript following Peaks and Valleys, and we're going into a further detailed exploration and elaboration of the manuscript. So instead of saying buckle up, I'm saying take some time to review and go over if you've already checked these videos out. And if you haven't checked these videos out yet, maybe you just came to the channel recently. I know this is the beginning stages of this channel, and I really am grateful to have each and every one of you here, and also understanding that this material is designed not to change your mind or to sell you anything. I know I have the books, but I've mentioned in previous videos it's just a way to support me, and it is the ultimate way to support and also invest in yourself. These books, all in series, will be designed as workbooks. So, meaning even in the representation of the context, the way that it's internalized subconsciously, and the way that I have spaced out the text. So it's an all-inclusive workbook, spiritually down to the physical, jotting down the notes. Maybe you're highlighting certain parts of the material. I highly prefer, personally, having physical books, but I did provide the ebook for Peaks and Valleys if you like digital. I do understand that may be a better option for some people. So, Synchronous Universe is not necessarily required after Peaks and Valleys. You don't have to read them in sequence, but I do encourage to check out Peaks and Valleys, at least on the channel, if you haven't at all. So also, if you've been watching any of the other videos, you will see I have a new little microphone here. It seems to be working a little bit better. Ironically, the microphone I was using was it's actually a recording, more professional studio microphone for vocals and instruments, and it's very sensitive, and it seems like this is much easier for speaking into, and it sounds okay. Let me know if it sounds okay as well, the audio. I tried to check that beforehand, but this is my first test run with this microphone. So anyways, apologies for the side note. Oh, let me pull this up for you. Excuse me. Okay, Synchronous Universe, I wanted to go back over the chapters that we're going to be going through and sort of elaborate a little bit on that. So, of course, we'll have an introduction, which I did read through in the previous video, so feel free to go back. I'm going to go through this again, by the way. I just read through it once to get the juices flowing. So chapter 1 is cracking the code, and this is going to regard the pattern break or the energy patterns or the habits that every individual commits to in some ritual way, shape, or form every single day in our day-to-day routines. So we're going to look into the subconscious mind and get a better understanding as we have in Peaks and Valleys, but even further, we're going to discuss even further egregores, demonic possessions of spirit, and how these influence the individual along their spiritual expansion in discerning etheric, astral, mental bodies in our subtle anatomies. This is going to be regarded more throughout the chapters and contents of this material as well. Part 3, Psychology of Healing, Harnessing Divine Intelligence, and Prison Break. You will see that we're going to develop a deeper relationship with the divine faculties that are surging through the nature of our being. That is in chapter 2, noted anatomy and physiology, habits, consciousness, memory, imagination, and reasoning. So we're also talking about visualization and imagination, intuition. Oh, I think I mentioned imagination, intuition, the interweaving of these faculties and how to responsibly develop and manage and cultivate relationships as we unravel our magical boundless essence, that is our boundless creative potential. So within chapter 1, the psychology of healing, harnessing divine intelligence, and prison break, we are going to allow the reprogramming of the subconscious via our will, our intention of our will, our willpower, and ultimately just taking in 100% accountability and responsibility and honorability for our frequency of thought. So we're going to nip the action in the bud by going to the formative cause, which is in its subtle form, the thought, right? The frequency of thought. So in order to do that, we must tune out of the external fields and develop these relationships internally, or at least start practicing and exercising every day some way, shape, or form to get closer to these internal machinations. The external influences, of course, are everywhere, and we've noted the distraction field, and we're going to go deeper into that as well, because protecting prana and our life force and not being distracted is just as important as transmuting it as honorably as we can as the alchemist, the magus, the student of life university. Chapter 2, Subconscious Mind, Internal Darkness Blueprint. We're going to discuss how the darkness, which we enter every day and night, we have the ability via these other divine faculties and machinations interweaving with the internal darkness blueprint and imagination, memory, as you'll see in part 2. All of these interweaving machinations to program, or let's say reprogram, the subconscious mind at our will as the inner awareness of the subconscious mind grows. We develop a deeper internal presence with our senses. So the same way that you smell something or see something, you're doing it internally. So part 2, anatomy and physiology. This is just going to review some of this in different studies. Habit, consciousness, memory, imagination, and reasoning. These are going to be powerful influences that combined, these frequencies will help us shape or reshape and refine and remind and recollect, which is what learning is. Part 3, Law of 7 in Kabbalion. So reviewing some Hermetic principles, some important fundamentals, which I think as we grow and expand is certainly important to reconsider, reiterate to the subconscious. And certain fundamentals you also know, or at least for me, I know that some of them expand and some of them don't fit as well as certain perceptions are reshaped. So Law of 7, so going over the Hermeticism, a little bit of Hermeticism, Hermetic principles, one with all that is, and unraveling your truth. And this will be part of the deconstruction of the polarity parameters that are designed in our matrix today, or are not to be what's the word, confused by with Gaia matrix, but the topographical layer, the man-made construct that is the illusory field, the veils that have been covering Gaia and intentionally driven to govern the thought frequency of the collective or the majority of people. Chapter 3, Synchronicities and Symbolism. We're going to have an introduction, which I definitely already have on the channel. Check out the Esoteric Exploration playlist, and that will be a great starting point. Checking out for the current 2025 Year of the Serpent decode. And this will take you through time and express some ideas concerning the influences of ancient symbolism up to modern day and how it is still used. The second part of chapter 3, the chakra system. So going a little bit further into having a deeper understanding of the chakra systems, which I'm going to get in depth in further material regarding the chakra system. So I didn't want to pile all this on at one time. It sort of would have been overbearing to get a basic understanding, fundamental understanding, considering that we already have it. It's just a matter of tuning into it, or really even simpler, quieting the external fields of distraction. And naturally you will listen and feel and understand better. The inner awareness will naturally waken up. It'll present itself to you the more that you listen to it. It just to simply put. And energy and motion are emotions, equilibrium, and expression of consciousness. So we're going to get deeper, more into depth, as we have aforementioned in the previous videos of Peaks and Valleys in the manuscript, the balance and heaven and our ability to respond to heaven and finding that peace within instantaneously. So through the cultivation of these machinations, expressing them honorably. It's okay to F up and make mistakes. It's just being accountable. The mistake isn't really even that. That's just a word that we put on something that's more so part of, so close and important to the learning process. You could really just call it learning. Maybe that is a trickle down from the church in sin, right? But no, I encourage the mistakes because that's the only way to grow. And I wouldn't even call it that. I would just call it learning. Fluid Universe in Chapter 4. So going back over the popularized, especially these days, this is very popularized material that the mainstream loves to tell us about, all the history. Energy, vibration, and frequency. This is going to more so direct the individual within. Of course, you know how this works. If you've seen any of the previous videos, at least, you know how I've designed this and what I have intention embedded into the material for. The intention of unraveling your truth within. So it's not going to talk about people in their theories, who stole what. This is going to be special. So towards the end of the book, chapter 4, that's what we will look into, and part 2 of chapter 4 being rituals, resonance, and radiation. So stick around. I'm super excited to share this with you. Chapter 5 is just going to be some closing thoughts regarding the book, regarding the reader, student of life. And I'm going to leave a personal note. Well, I've left a personal note for you, for all the readers and community, every person in the community here on this channel. So with that being said, I just wanted to review, hopefully this wasn't too boring. I wanted to review the chapters, and I just wanted to give an idea of sort of what I'm conveying in furthering, further elaborating on in Synchronous Universe. So stick around. Again, thank you so much for everybody who has supported thus far. It means the world to have your support here, especially at the beginning stages of the channel. It is, I'm as honorably as possible. It is a privilege to even be able to share this with people, and I do hope that it resonates with each and every single person in some unique way. And this is also certainly just a reminder that I'm not doing anything special for you, but reminding you that the divine powers and the boundless creative essence and potential that we are given is within you. And it's in a perpetual state of contemplation, of self-contemplation, that being your life spirit. So all of these divine machinations that make up the bioelectromagnetic field, the subtle anatomy that presents itself in physical manifestation and form as well. When it's used in its pure form, when it's used in a loving form, when it's used in goodness, through the direction, the intention, willpower of a sovereign individual, meaning one that thinks internally for themselves, that has a awareness, I would say, overthinking awareness of themselves. The distractions in the outer world, the modern day distractions, are abundant and intensifying. Now, humans are extremely adaptable, and this divine technology seems to work its ways whether the individual is aware or not. This is why so many of us hang on so long and fight hard against diseases that are causing imbalance in our natural biorhythm and natural biophysical flow. Our subtle bodies and in their effect, physical bodies becoming imbalanced. So part of this work is also to encourage the individual to establish these relationships in order to balance out these fields, which may take some time. Honestly, this work is lifetime work, meaning there is perpetual efforts required of the student. So this isn't to be taken lightly, but also don't be critical in the process. Don't beat yourself up. That's not going to help anything. So allow yourself, again, that's what I mentioned earlier. There's no mistake. Just learn, live and learn. That's what we're truly here to do. In its simplicity, yet how complex the divine life force is. A paradox within itself. The truth and the mystery all in one. Again, this isn't to change your mind with anything, and also hopefully you realize this isn't to shift you into a confusing paradigm. More than ever has the snake oil been shifting people's ideals and subconscious into paradigms of confusion where reality has become even worse than illusory, but almost like perpetual confusion, you would say, is all not schizoid, but maybe not paranoid, but unrestful, I would say. Sounds exhausting. I think it's good to be curious and maybe even a little paranoid, if anything, regarding the previous statement. So this material, along with Peaks and Valleys, is designed for the individual to go within and explore the inner potential, which is boundless in its essence, which is in it is permeates the universe. And you can call these forces what you will, as long as you honor the relationship and manage the relationships that you build and refine in the process of harnessing. Now, one of the most powerful utilities one can be here as a human being is being you. So, with that, be you in its ever expansion, in its ever perpetual expanding forms. we are at a choice here. That is sort of what we drop down into this physical vessel with the ability. And not everybody has even had as much ability to choose as we do. Even our ancestors at certain times of slavery and war, and even certain survival needs at certain times. All of the distractions, entertainment, mainstream bombarding humans with is not conducive to a good lifestyle, a healthy, it's not to well-being. So these are just some thoughts to ponder, and hopefully you understand that I'm not sitting here telling you what's right or wrong and what's good and bad, because the entire purpose of this material is to get you to go within and unravel from a neutral balance point, because that's where you're going to get your best jump. When you lift off, you need to lift off from a balanced point. You can't lift off imbalanced. And I'm excited to share, sort of combine some of the ideas of psychospirituality or psychology and spirituality, and not to get them confused. However, we have work to do here, and the material in these following pages will share the space in spirit, mind, and body for thought and consciousness expansion. This is not to change your mind, as I've mentioned. It is intended to direct the individual to look within, exploring realms of infinite creative potential. This is designed for students developing and understanding esoteric and occult principles embedded in the subconscious of the collective mind, the Akashic records, and how rituals influence humans in the entertainment world, in religious sects, and even in our own day-to-day routines. This book will explore how the divine intelligence life force, ever present and available for the individual internally attuned, can be properly harnessed with honorable actions and intentions. Now, this is sort of rehashing what I was, what I'm mentioning. So we have a opportunity now more than ever to connect, collect, and correct every day, and also remind each other of these abilities. So this isn't anything to be worried about. This is, if anything, this is pure opportunity. And when we resource our inner creative essence and utilize it honorably or properly, and we give it, whether it be to human or to working with Gaia, working with the mother, we also receive. So looking at the management of our frequency of thought in our levels of gratitude, which formally express themselves here and then proceed to the manifestation in the creation field, in the physical field. So we're going to get down to the core of ourselves, of our being, while we explore this material on this channel. And hopefully that if you have been here, I hope I'm conveying this in a way, I don't want to be redundant, but also the people that are just joining, I want to explain this in enough elaborate discourse so that we are on the same page as close as possible. And also, with that note, that every individual that is here is unraveling their unique expression, their unique coding in their life journey. So, we are here to help each other and remind each other and help each other remember that we are all one and not alone and have way more potential within than we may give ourselves credit for in any day to day. So I encourage everybody to, and I'll say this as I close out this rant, I get, or whatever you call this, monologue. Don't beat yourself up in the process of learning. And there is boundless potential for you always. And it has nothing to do with what's out in front of you or around. It's unraveling from an emergence field, a point of singularity within. Now, I'm going to close this out with a short message here. And we will go back over the introduction for Synchronous Universe in the near future. Please utilize this material as a resource as much as necessary. I, the author, speak from the heart with a message of appreciation to the individuals who have continued to embrace their path of truth. Modern day is full of distractions, and we must help each other remember the divine powers that exist within, never alone, but rather all one of a much larger, universal breath and pulse. Now, of course, family, we have a responsibility individually, and that's what this material is designed to hone in on. But we work collectively. They say teamwork makes the dream work. Thank you again for your continued comments, insights, your support. Even just a like or a share is amazing. And subscribing to the channel, especially at the beginning stages of this, is extremely helpful. So thank you always, and your support means the world. I'm going to keep working to honorably present this across the board, universally speaking, for as many, to be assistive to as many people as possible. So bear with me in that process, please. And also, I do wish everybody a wonderful, wonderful rest of your week. And again, check out some of the other videos in this playlist. Share this with somebody if you think this might help. This might be some interesting material for anybody that you know. And is there anything else I wanted to share? I have these books available in physical, in paperback formats, again, and digital format for peaks and valleys if you're interested. And you can contact me directly if you don't use Amazon. I do understand. And we can definitely get you a copy of the workbooks. So hopefully that was a good presentation for today for everybody. I wanted to leave everybody with enough material as we are in a brief intermission between these manuscripts. I may present some other stuff too in the process of these manuscripts on this playlist. But for now, this is plenty for everybody to take in and utilize at their will. So yeah. With that being said, again, everybody, thank you for being here. Your support means the world, and I appreciate you. And I will see you in another video. Please take care in your endeavors the rest of the week and have a wonderful evening, morning, or afternoon, wherever you are. All right, everybody. Until the next time, much love. Peace.